George Harrison.
Ringo Starr.
John Lennon.
George.
John.
John.
Really love John, even though he's a bastard.
I don't know. I've never thought about it. I love them all equally.
I don't have one.
Mostly John.
John.
I like Paul because he's sort of the underdog in a sense, because everyone thinks he's a, major cheeseball.
Paul McCartney.
John.
George.
Stu Sutcliffe.
I don't have one.
Probably John. Sort of a badass.
John. I don't particularly have one of them as a favorite. They're all great.
Maybe you should say, who's my favorite Rolling Stone?
Ringo. Because he's still alive.
I really do love them all equally. Yeah.
I've indefinitely postponed my resolve to quit smoking.
I'd like to regain my time management skills.
I'm certainly drinking more. The thought process being, I can always go into rehab or start going to the gym after this whole thing blows over, but eat, drink, and be merry.
I have a strong feeling that the U.S. government, which is always about that far from a police state anyway, has finally gone over the edge, and it is one now.
I mean, it's the first time I ever felt even remotely patriotic, which is a big switch.
What the hell does that mean? Make myself a target? Join a protest movement that will mean utterly nothing?
Everything was kind of hypothetical. Like, I thought, well, if push came to shove, I probably would go to war, because I never imagined anyone really, attacking the U.S. It was so far removed from all the hot spots in the world, so.
This kind of actually put my life sort of into a holding pattern, because it kind of disrupted everything, and you almost can't feel like you can move on and do things, especially with the economy and everything, until they kind of resolve it.
For me, and I've noticed on even New York-based late-night talk shows, which I watch a lot of, that whole feeling of the whole melancholy of I think those feelings have kind of worn off. People are being funny again, and people are kind of getting over it, and you can bring it up, and everybody's, oh yeah, whatever, for a little bit, but I think that those feelings have kind of worn off.
Right after it happened, everyone seemed so intent on making things meaningful, and I thought, you know what, we're not going to have any more stupid sitcoms, and we're not going to have dumb arguments and road rage, and that seemed to last for about 3 weeks.
Although it's difficult to see from the outside, I'm less motivated by things that I now think of as kind of facile and not important.
I went to the movies last night, and there's this Schwarzenegger movie, about terrorists that this movie will never come out because it's horrible, and it's fucking coming out in a month.
I've definitely tried to connect with a lot of old friends, and I certainly have sort of realized how much I appreciate the friends that I have and my family.
I felt surprisingly in love with life and more free and open and more attached to whatever creative impulses I find in myself. They've always been submerged, and I've been trying to dig them up my whole life, and I feel like that struggle got a kick in the pants from the end of the world approaching. And every time I talk to my friends, I tell them I love them now, which of course feels great.
Okay, this is kind of a special answer because it's a gay man who wouldn't sleep with me, but I can sleep with whoever I want, right?
Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon.
Frank O'Hara in a nutshell. Easy.
Lot's wife.
I never really think of historical figures in a sexual way, so I'm going to keep it current.
That guy Chris from NSYNC is pretty hot, actually.
Tyra Banks.
Yeah, I'd sleep with Einstein. What the hell? Or Ozzy. No, Einstein.
Maybe Brigitte Bardot.
Bridget Fonda.
I'd have to say Kate Winslet.
Kate Blanchett. You'd probably like to sleep with her.
I think Fonzie.
I don't know her name, but not June Carter Cash, but her mother.
I
I don't know why, but Baryshnikov kind of intrigues me.
Jesus Christ. I would love to talk to that guy the next morning and just see what he had to say.
Myself.
Linda Harrison. Nova from Planet of the Apes.
Grace Kelly.
I want to say Brad Pitt, but I think the drummer of Def Leppard when he had 2 arms.
Oh, that's easy. Elizabeth Taylor.
I would have liked to slept with Napoleon, but after he was dead. Can I tell a story about the 11th?
Yeah.
Might you be able to use or not. The day of, everybody in the United States who had a television, I think, pretty much spent the day glued in front of it because even though there wasn't any new information, people were waiting for that and waiting for, I guess, some kind of sucker or reality check or whatever they were using the television for. And of course most of the major stations were preempted by CNN coverage. And after seeing the planes crash into the buildings 40 times, we were kind of freaking out at our house and decided to switch stations to find just something more cheery, something that wasn't about death. And, we have cable, so we went to Animal Planet. Animal Planet, full of cute stuff. And then and the sound was down, and I was like, see, Tom, look at that tiny kitten. Look at that, that is the smallest, cutest kitten. And there's somebody like kind of touching the kitten, and it was very still, and it was asleep. But then the vet pulled the sheet over the kitten, and in fact the kitten was dead. And Tom congratulated me on finding the one thing that could possibly be more depressing than the terrorist attacks, dead kitten. The end.